What's up guys, and welcome to Xbox.On, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at some of the best remasters and remakes in gaming history. Let's get into it. Why have a remaster when you can have a HD remaster of a remaster? It's a remaster inception, but with absolutely no Leonardo DiCaprio. Resident Evil pretty much defined the survival horror genre. It first terrified us back in 1996 and is a much different experience to the recent Resident Evil 7. The classic takes us back to fixed camera angles, a technique used to make the player feel extremely uneasy. What's behind that door? Well, it's most likely a zombie that wants to eat your face, but you won't know until its incisors are lodged into your voice box. The HD remastering said goodbye to blocky pixels and hello to new background textures, better lighting, vastly improved graphics, and a widescreen aspect ratio. As incredible as the original release was, it's just quite hard to get scared by blocky pixels trying to murder you. This remaster allows you to feel true fear as you attempt to solve the many head-scratching puzzles along the way. Now, I may be biased, but this is without a doubt one of the remasters that I have put the most hours into. I also put a stupid amount of hours into the original, even though it's probably nowhere near the amount of Lydia, but don't let our lack of social life put you off. Now, I don't need to explain the concept of Skyrim to you, but basically, dragons, arrows to the knee, and side quests as far as the eye can see. So, first things first. Obviously, it looks a lot better. It's remastered, it has a higher resolution, dynamic depth of field, and all that lovely stuff. Of course, the main reason the remaster is incredible is because of the ability to add mods. Sick of enemies looking like enemies? Time to change these bad boys into Thomas the Tank Engine. Want to cheat some gold? Have a lightsaber or try out new followers? If you can think of it, the option is probably there. Skyrim suddenly becomes even more of an infinitely explorable game. Grand Theft Auto is one of the best games ever made in my humble opinion, and it got made even better, which is a pretty damn incredible feat. So first things first, we obviously got that sweet 1080p and 30 FPS action that a masterpiece like GTA 5 is just crying out for. The world of Los Santos is detailed and beautiful, so seeing it run clearer and better than ever makes exploring that little bit more fun. The most notable addition was the inclusion of first person. For those who like their gaming experience a bit more personal, this is the perfect chance to step into the shoes of Trevor Phillips. I mean, you might not want to get into his shoes, they probably smell pretty bad. But of course, first person totally changes the entire experience. From shootouts to high-speed races to taking the city in by foot, the world just feels bigger and more intense from this point of view. There were tons of little changes made too, from a host of fluffy wildlife to new pedestrian chatter with hundreds of new songs on the radio. Rockstar somehow managed to make GTA 5 even more full of life, and more importantly, full of Trevor. Now, Rare Replay is a pretty special addition to this list, as it's not one game brought back onto our consoles, but 30 of them. So, while these aren't all remasters, they are games that have been brought over to the Xbox One that we may never have got to play previously. I mean, some of these games are from the ZX Spectrum. I wasn't even alive when they came out. But, of course, with older games comes ridiculous difficulty. So Rare were kind enough to include cheats to help us when the going gets tough. From classics way back in the early 80s like Jetman to 2008's Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. There's a wide selection of Rare's impressive back catalogue. They also added a pretty cool feature called Snapshot Mode. This takes specific challenges from games and tasks you with beating their punishing rules. But here's a tip, stay away from Battletoads if you don't want to rip all your hair out. But as a reward for good behaviour, we're gifted with behind the scenes footage and interviews about Rare's biggest and unreleased games. Now, time for a remaster with a good old rev in its engine, and that's Burnout Paradise. Set in the magically named Paradise City, this open world racer gives the opportunity to progress at your own pace. That's right, take the pedal off the metal if that's what floats your boat. Of course, it's way more fun to drive like a lunatic and cause total destruction. Just don't tell my driving instructor that I said that. With the remastered version, you'll get the original version bundled up with all the juicy DLC that was on offer too. Much is the way with remastered versions, the key is in the way it looks. The visuals are now at eye-wateringly good 4K with 60 FPS, meaning it looks incredible on the Xbox.One X. Burnout Paradise is one of the best open-world racing games out there and well worth a visit for a sharper look. Now, this is a remastering which is mighty good looking. Some might say handsome because, you know, it's called the Handsome Collection. The Handsome Collection is a wonderful combo of Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel, the latter being set in between the first and the second game. This much-loved action FPS, which made Western science fantasy genres cool, is a much-loved staple classic in the gaming world. The game's recognizable cel-shaded art style with the local split-screen multiplayer, which allows up to 4 players, which is a nice boost from the previous 2, you can make a proper night of it with a group of mates. A nice touch is any save data from your 360's version will be migrated over to the Handsome Collection, so none of that annoying starting all over again. This is an absolute must for Xbox fans. Now, this is a remaster that I, along with many other Call of Duty fans, were screaming out for a long time, and in 2016, Infinity Ward and Raven Studios answered our call and brought it to Xbox One, and it looked incredible. Just doing that very first mission on the sinking ship gave me so many flashback memories from the game that truly made me a Call of Duty fan. Multiplayer was also an absolute treat, going back to the bread and butter that made Call of Duty such a powerhouse for so many years, going back and using classic weapons like the M16 and the MP5 on some of my favourite maps ever like Crash and Bog, in a game that looks visually stunning compared to the original, is most definitely one of my favourite game remasters, even if it was just to play all gillied up one last time. With most remasters, re-releases or definitive editions, most people look forward to the brand new changes, but one of the things that set Dark Souls Remastered apart from so many others is how little has actually changed. The original Dark Souls is hailed as such a classic that even placing one Black Knight just 3 or 4 pixels to the left, people would be flipping tables across the world, and luckily, the talented folks at From Software knew this. There are a few changes in gameplay, however, such as being able to play with more people online and now having the ability to change your covenant at a bonfire, but the most notable changes were in the game's quality of life changes. The game now runs at a smooth 60 frames per second as opposed to the original's 30, even in the dreaded killer of frame rates, Blighttown. Now you can see everything poisoning you in real time. Real, dreadful time. Prepare to die all over again, and again, and again. And you get it. On to BioShock now, and the worlds of Rapture and Columbia have never looked so good. I mean, I still wouldn't want to live there, but even so, all 3 games from the BioShock series of thought-provoking shooters are in fine form in BioShock the Collection, now with 1080p 60 frames per second. Marvel at the ingenuity of man as you explore a city at the bottom of the ocean and another high above the clouds. Then fight off those same men using fire and bees and a grappling hook. All 3 games have their moments, whether it's unearthing tragic audio logs in some flooded nightclub, or setting up traps for mutated citizens, or riding a skyrail directly into an enemy's face. The challenge game modes from all 3 releases returns, as does the fascinating Museum of Orphaned Concepts, which you can use to see all the ideas too strange to include. It's definitely worth making the repeat visit to BioShock with this collection, even if it will all end in violence. Halo the Master Chief Collection is no ordinary remaster. For starters, it contains Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4, complete with campaign, multiplayer, map editor Forge, and Spartan Ops. So it's more of an everlasting Halo gobstopper, the ultimate Halo package for if you want all the Halos in one collection, or if you're running low on shelf space and can only fit exactly one more game box on there, which, you know, is a bit unrealistic, but it could happen. But there's another reason that Halo the Master Chief Collection is so damn special, and that's because of its alternative graphics mode. At any point during Halo 1 or 2's campaign, you can click the back button and switch between original Xbox graphics and brand sparkling new graphics. Ta-da! I'm killing you in 2 different realities. It's like traveling 15 years in the blink of an eye, and those cinema quality cutscenes are worth the price of admission alone. All in all, one of the best remasters ever. So there we have it, those are some of the best remakes and remasters in gaming history. Make sure to let us know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and smash that thumbs up button, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!